Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hard4Games channel. I'm your host, Tony, and if you didn't catch the news yesterday or didn't see my video on it, Zelda 64, a 1997 build of it, was discovered on an F-Zero X development cartridge. Unfortunately, F-Zero X kind of overwrote about half of the ROM, but we still have half of that early 1997 build of the game, which includes items, maps, textures, just amazing stuff we'd never thought we would see. Now, yesterday's video, I did a preview of the items, and today I'm going to start exploring the actual spaces, the maps, the early areas within Ocarina of Time, or as it was then known, Zelda 64. So here we are in a beta fairy fountain, and just look at this. Now, obviously the fairy fountains in Ocarina of Time were always, somewhat ornate and very pretty, the flowing water, the different colors, very bright and vibrant, but this is something else entirely. It still retains a lot of that retail look, but it's just like looking into a distorted mirror. It's similar, but it's just so different at the same time. And we actually have a fountain coming out of the middle of the space. A fountain that kind of looks like a bird bath in a way. But regardless, just absolutely gorgeous space. Now, I'm viewing this with a model viewer, but people are working really hard to input these maps into a playable ROM of Ocarina of Time. So after each one of these spaces that I'm going to show off today are visited, I'm going to go ahead and show off some footage courtesy of Z64Me, aka Dr. Disco. He is one of the individuals working on implementing these maps into the ROM. So again, just an absolutely beautiful space here. And here we have Z64Me's footage. Again, amazing work on his part. Here we have the fabled beta graveyard. A much flatter space than the retail version, but you're gonna see that's kind of a theme. Flatter, more plain, and also spacious. Speaking of which, look at this road to get into the graveyard. There's just so much space here. We zoom in a little bit on these tombstones. They have a little cross and a little crack going down the sides and a little bit of an inscription on them. Notice how in the back here there's a larger one, and behind that the bricks in the wall are kind of broken up, and that same pattern of breakage is also on one of the front corners of the graveyard. In early screenshots, you saw Link fighting a Poe here, a ghost, which of course occurs in the retail version of the game as well. Here's the breakage that I was talking about here, and over on screen right, you can see the breakage again. It's interesting though, because unlike the retail version of the game where the developers utilized clever tricks so you as the player couldn't see beyond the boundaries, in many cases here they didn't do that. They just created giant walls of land on either side so you couldn't see beyond it. How are you going to see beyond this? The space is absolutely humongous. And again, here we have Z64Me's footage. Now, speaking of humongous space, here we have Kakariko Village, or Kakariko Village. I never was quite sure how to pronounce that. But again, you have a very flat, spacious landscape surrounded by large mountainous walls. All of these houses are very cookie cutter, plain, very ordinary. Obviously, they changed these up in the final version of the game. These really remind me of the neighborhood that I grew up in, where it was really like post-World War II cookie cutter houses where they were just trying to get them up as quick as possible. Here we have the road over to the graveyard. Notice the fence here is the same. And over on the right-hand side, we have a little bit of an elevation in the landscape, a house that seems to be a focal point. And beyond that, we have Death Mountain and a path to get to Death Mountain. So not like a big gate like it was in the retail version of the game, but sort of a caved-off path. So again, just incredible to see. Very odd and foreign simultaneously, but very happy that this exists. And once again, here is Z64Me's footage of Link messing around in this area. So that is it for today, everybody. A couple of thank yous, though. Big thank you to CDI Fails for teaching me how to utilize this model viewer so I could get good footage for all of you. And also thank you to Dr. Disco, aka Z64Me, for allowing me to utilize his footage. But aside from that, everybody, there are just so many more maps and areas to explore. I've already captured a ton of footage, and I'm really excited to show it off to all of you. There are over 100 maps, and they are just so very, very different. So if you want to be notified about the next video, make sure to like and subscribe, click the notification bell, and we'll see you all next time. Hey everybody, thank you again for watching, and if you want more information, please check out Forest of Illusion on Twitter. Links in the description below.